Breaking news just minutes ago. The HEX Origin Address from Ethereum, rumored Richard Hart, has staked a whopping 50 billion HEX. Yes, that's right, friends. I'm going to now show it to you. This is the transaction hash right now. 50 billion HEX. I've got to remind you as well. I think there's about 600 total billion. About 100 billion is the community. It's probably up to like 120 now. Yeah, so there's about like 480 still owned by the Origin Address. So of that 600 billion, I think Origin Address is maybe like 85%. So yeah, about 400 or 500 billion, whatever. So he's staked 50 billion. Now, why would he do this? Everybody's basically losing their minds. I haven't seen anything. But yeah, the price has shot up for, interesting, HEX from Ethereum, pDAI, and Purple Bitcoin. They've actually come and like done these big slash up. And if I just refresh the page now, HEX from Ethereum is up 40% almost on this move. It's still garbage on the chart. Like that's, you know what I mean? Like we're down here like, yay! You know what I mean? Like you're still this. But if I show you the eHEX to PLS ratio, that's something, oh yeah, so we have this nice chick up. Now what's going on? Well, friends, we've got to remember, if it's developing information and there's any more actions from here, I'm like bringing it to you live pretty much. So he's done a 7-day stake, and it shows up as like this burning thing on the transactions. Yeah, so it's a 7-day. It's done a 7-day stake. It says it's burned. So if you see this out here, right? If you see this out here, that's what it is. Now, many people don't know what's going on. It could be two things: option one, option two. I think it's option one. Let me explain for you. So option one would be his staking to protect the price. That's the whole point of the Origin Address. So there are a lot of changes that happened throughout the crypto cycle. Richard designed HEX to be like a long-term delay gratification application. The problem is price went down so dog shit, 99% down. Actually, HEX from Ethereum even worse. That what's happened is the average stake duration of people entering, it used to be like 7 years. Now, for the past 2 years, okay, if you just count the people in the past 2 years, their average stake duration is 60 days. So people who are in it, everyone's like, you know what, I'm not doing long-term staking anymore. This whole thing, that's what they pretty much you talk about. They're like, you know what, this thing doesn't work. The market changes so much. Memes, layer 2 Ethereum, that sucked. Ethereum dog shit. They're just like, everyone's like, you know what, I don't like crypto anymore. Yeah, I don't blame you, man. I don't blame you. So their reaction is they go, well, if a bear market hits, we're going to lose 99% anyway, so I can't stake long term because look, I have to learn such a vicious lesson. So they've reacted by doing these short-term stakes. Now, whether they're right or wrong, I don't know. But man, when they're seeing this chart, that's what they're looking at. So I'm here showing you. If you're new, there are a lot of new people. Okay, people saw this thing go up only, and they thought it'd be a bear market hedge. It wasn't. And then what made things worse is here comes March. We're already down here. March 2024, right here. So we're already down 99%. And then Richard does eHEX FUD stuff. He's like, you know what, pHEX is better. And interpreted by the market as like eHEX FUD stuff. And then that like shocked everybody. They're like, man, this is what everyone's going through. They're thinking, not only do I have to try and hope that the market doesn't deviate too much from my expectations if I do a 3, 5, 10-year stake, 15-year stake. Not only do we have that problem of like trying to guess that, now you've introduced this uncertainty where the founder can just say, I don't like the coin anymore. You know, that's what is in everyone's minds, you know? And that's why I give you the truth. You speak to people, this is what everybody says. They say, well, I signed up for up only. I signed up for delay gratification. I signed up for long-term stuff. I didn't sign up for like, oh crap, now I've got to have a founder on like Twitter notifications to see whether he likes it or not. Yeah, that's that erratic uncertainty. And guess what, man? The market vomits it out. It goes, well, you're down 99% for a reason. Even if you include the pHEX, not good enough. Like you check HEX from Pulse Chain, friends, pHEX, dog shit. You're at 1 cent still, 1 cent. You know, but if you've been watching my videos, it's not the problem of pHEX or Richard Hart or Pulse Chain. It's Ethereum. Ethereum is down. So I want to explain to you, before I tell you anything else, This is the main culprit, okay? Do you want to know why HEX and Pulse Chain and everything's down? It's because ETH BTC has been going down for 2 years since launch, all right? We expected Ethereum to do better. Ethereum is not. Pretty much, if you do the ratios, we thought Ethereum would be, say, $8,000 by now. It's only 2,700. It recently just hit 2,000. So there's a wild expectation difference of what actually happened. Now, if we go back to checking it out, so if he stakes short-term, friends, he's done a 7-day stake. So if he stakes short-term, remember all those people who are staking, now that the Origin address is staking, it is soaking up their yield. Okay, so now Richard is basically like a big whale. He's like, you know what? I'm handing out, like you can calculate it, but if you wanted to. Let's say it was something like 5 million HEX per week. Let's say that's how much was handed out, 5 million HEX. Well, now that he's in there, so I don't have the exact numbers, but maybe he wants to grab like 2 million of that now. Now, of these 100 people, they used to have 5 million HEX to grab from. Now he's there. He joins. He grabs 2 million. Now there's only 3 million to hand out. So there's less inflation going out. And that protects the price. Why? Because, well, the game theory, like, man, I'm so sick of that term. Game theory in these, because there's none of them freaking work. We're just, you know what, game theory, bro? There's no game theory. There's cycles, and that's it, okay? Sleepy time, awake time. That's it. Yeah? Happy, sleepy, hungry, that's it. The parts of the cycle of a human body, and that's pretty much what's overwhelmed all of us, okay? But the game theory is it's meant to work in such a way that now that the HEX yield is lower, because these are Richard's words himself, if the HEX yield goes lower over time, people have to buy more HEX and lock it up longer to get the yield now. So if you were somebody, let's say there are people out there, I know the price is really, really low, but there are some people out there, maybe they're making like $5,000 a month of the HEX yield, and maybe it's just keeping them above water. Yeah, and obviously the price is so low. But yeah, now that Richard's, say that guy's getting $5,000, maybe Richard is now going to grab 2,000 of that. Now he's only got 3. So to get your yield, you can't do your like 30-day stake anymore per month. Maybe you've got to do like a 1-year stake. Now you get all your things at one go, but you don't have the option to basically dump all the time. But yeah, like I said, I don't know how much of the yield it actually changes. But yeah, because of all the calculations, people can go figure that out. But honestly, I feel like nobody gives a shit anyway. They're like, bro, yield and complexity, give me a meme coin that goes up. That's what everyone feels like. That's what everyone's feeling like. Just give me a thing. And by the way, he released a JPEG casino. So it's like he just put 18 tickers out. Kind of like split all the mind share. But yes, I'm just trying to help you understand what's the average person out here. What is everybody thinking about how they interpret these? They're like, yeah, this is cool, I guess. But now it's like, yeah, there's a lot of things. Like, oh, what about the pulse and pulse and It's Ethereum, friends. When Ethereum's this low, that's what it is. However, we're not expecting Ethereum to be this low forever. We know Donald Pump is buying. We know Eric Pump as well. He told everybody to get long, pretty much. So if this thing goes back up here, you'll probably see new people join in. Look, friends, there are people, I know it sounds crazy. There are people, they've just gotten wrecked in the JPEG casino on Solana. And if they see HEX going up and they start learning, they're like, hey, man, see how you like wasted 2 years of trading in what you call the trenches? No, bro, you're the exit food for the liquidity. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you're getting destroyed in the trenches. Well, these people like, you know, look at XRP Army. That chart eventually went up. These people believe in something long term and you can protect yourself from yourself. That's the idea. It's just it's harder and harder when we keep going further out the risk curve with crypto technology. Okay, if you watch my Juicy News, you'll know more about that. So that's option one. So that's what it could be doing, right? So if he's staking it, he's lowering the yield, and he's just done HEX from Ethereum. And it could be that he's doing pHEX later. It could be just testing. Hey, what happens if I just do the eHEX one? Just, you know, market participant. Number 2, he could leave the 50 billion stake and not in-stake it. And then it will naturally, he starts paying the penalty. So 2 weeks, if you forget to do your stake, ending, you have 2 weeks to end your stake after it ends. After the 2 weeks, you start losing 1% of your whole stack per week as a penalty. Now, some people get really scared about that, but the idea is, the theory is, and when you hear about this, it makes sense. Richard didn't want people to forget about HEX, don't shill it, wake up in 3 years, and they're on side, like they turn their 10 grand into like 1.5 million, and then they just dump the crap out of the price. They don't want that because you've contributed nothing. He wants it to be active in mindshare, so you have to be aware of your stake. That was the original theory and stuff out here. Obviously, when HEX was going up, all of these things sounded beautiful and great. But then you have someone new like Mr. Shill Gates comes out and he comes in with fresh eyes and he's like, guys, I don't like this. I don't like this like sudden death thing out here. But yeah, but also Mr. Shill Gates, okay, shout out to him. He's also had the benefit of seeing the narrative shift where people understand memes, cults, religions and stuff more, and it's not about complexity of the code. You know what I mean? So what is his conclusion is very natural and normal and rational. He's like, oh, look at all these memes that go up. You're a complex thing. You're not going up in this cycle so far. He's like, well, that's why I don't really like that whole penalty. Like, not only was it already tough to make that leap for the average person, now you're telling everyone with this scare thing, hey, you're going to lose all your money if you don't do the stake thing ending. So, you know what I mean? It's just kind of like something you don't want to hear. It's kind of like, friends, I told you, there's an island that you go to. Yeah, it's a pretty good island. And you're like, well, you look at it and it just looks, you just see like a bunch of people fighting with like tribal sticks. And then I tell you, oh yeah, by the way, there's the Lost, from the Lost series, friends, there's that black fog monster that comes, and if you're outside of your tent on a Monday night, it'll eat you. You know what I mean? And you're like, oh, the island was a bit scary already. Now you're telling me there's a black smog monster? So that's what I'm talking to. That's how it feels like. Yeah, but everybody HEX in the HEX island. They're like, what do you mean? It's not scary. This is the greatest thing ever. But yeah, you can keep saying that, friends. But when we're down HEX BTC, so the HEX BTC ratio, like you can keep saying it's amazing. And look, I believe you. It is amazing for you. I want you to see, what does the market see? Yeah, what does the market see? What do you think they're going to see? They see, by the way, see this yellow line? That's eHEX and pHEX. So they see something down 98% after almost 4 years against Bitcoin, right? That's what they see. So, you know what I mean? So it has to be a different strategy in terms of like getting them in. But you're always playing for the future, right? So the market size is going to play itself up. So that short-term stake, if he doesn't end stake it starts bleeding out. Now, the way it works is 50% goes back to the origin address, which is himself anyway, rumored Richard Hart, and the other 50%, so 25 billion, will go to everyone else staking. It's like a big inflation yield. However, if that's happening and he's bleeding, people can just run a good accounting for it. You can run a good accounting on the chain and you can basically pay a fee to end the stake and you stop the bleeding. You've done your good accounting. So even if you was trying to bleed it out, and if this was the option, someone in like a day or two is going to be like, oh, I'm going to stop it. Now, why would they do that? It's because, see, if he was handing out the inflation yield, he's just giving out inflation, but most of the inflation is going to long-term believers. This is one of my original theory, like guesses many years ago. I thought one day maybe the origin address will just like stake and like he could bleed himself out, and whoever staked the longest, they get most of the inflation handout. But the price being so low, we're not in let's reward people mode. We're in we've got to stop being down 99.5% mode, which is defensive. That mode I'm talking about is like maybe HEX succeeds and it's like taking over the world and stuff. And he's like, oh, I'm going to hand out stuff out here before I move on to the next phase of my life or whatever. But we didn't get there though. We went the other way down. Instead of like world domination, went more like, trailer park trash explosion. That's what it looks like. So this is protecting the price mode. And it's basically like, well, probably it's option one in terms of it's trying to lower the yield. But we'll see. Okay, so I'm just reporting this to you live. Remember, it's meant to be a long-term play for people in it. The HEX user inflation, shout out to Mr. Dipcatcher for this. The HEX user, so friends, I know HEX reported inflation is 3.69. However, that is out of the total, all the coins and the origin address installment. But if you look at user inflation, in terms of like the people actually active, it's 11%. Yeah, it's 7 to 11%, depending on that. So that's big. That's still big. Price has been getting murdered. Inflation's high. Yeah, obviously, this was not thought of back then because in a bull market, everything looks good, man. Everything goes up in a bull market. They gobble up inflation, What happens next? Look, I don't know exactly, but I'm speculating on the pHEX move next. So I'm just feeling like He's done eHEX. See what happens for a week or two. Does the inflation go down? How does it react, people? That's probably what he's doing, friends. He's like, he do the eHEX thing now because you want to see, right? Look what happened with the eHEX and pHEX pulsex yield farms. People started emergency end staking their eHEX to go grab the yield. So this is the thing, friends. Game theory. Most people in crypto, they don't really understand the game theory. It's not really, it's game theory, but you're within a city and you're sharing the same mind share type of like field, if you know what I mean. So when Richard Hart did game theory, he was assuming, okay, I've got HEX, people stake long term, and then the pulsex yield farms, they're for a different subset of people. That's the theory. In reality, it was the same people, and people are just choosing because they're in the same city. They're like, oh, do I take 5% yield or 8% yield? Okay, let me sell this and go grab the 8% yield. It's the same people, which is very, very rough. It's hard to swallow that. How do I explain it? Your game, friends, the game theory you're talking about, it's not really game theory financial growth over long term. It's more like there's a city here and it's a game that's trying to like lock people in and get people to join the city. Yes, it's not really, yeah, basically the applications of crypto, even though they look different ticker, different logo, they're not actually, it's basically you're in the same game. You're basically like, friends, you know there's like those Super Nintendo emulator like little games and you can pick like 150 games, like, oh, Super Mario Brothers. You play Super Mario 1, 2, or 3, or do you want to play Zelda, or do you want to play like Duck Hunt? You know what I mean? Like you're playing, it's the same, basically the same Game Boy type of like Famicom, whatever that thing is. Yeah, that's what it is. That's what it come down to. So pretty much the applications, yeah, it was, you're making different games for the same people. That's what it is. You did not grow more people. Like it's pretty much everyone's problem in crypto. The people we need, they're outside. And everyone is trying to get those people in. The cycle is very powerful. You know, Donald Trump released a celebrity token. That's it. He got 400,000 new people into crypto instantly in that day. 400,000. 396,000 haven't moved. They just bought and lost money. 1%, 4,000 have actually moved around Solana. So 400,000 new people came in. You see what I mean? So that's what is happening over time. The cycle, though, takes over. And like Bitcoin and Ethereum going up inspires other people. Hey, I want to come get rich, right? But that's the important thing to grasp. People aren't coming in saying, oh, I would like to improve my yield gain and my long-term life stuff out here. They don't come in saying that. They come in saying, I want to come get rich. And they're basically just choosing which game we're going to play. Okay, HEX from Ethereum, Super Mario Bros. 1. Yeah. HEX from Pulse Chain, Super Mario Bros. 2. Owning pulsex is like Zelda. Yeah. Now you have like a JPEG casino. Okay, you see what I mean? But the people coming with the same premise, I want to get rich. They're just choosing different applications. You know, and then we have a limited number of people who can join. So everybody's trying to show the people, hey, this is the best application to choose. And what's actually been happening is people are coming in and they're like, you know what? This is too complex. I don't understand what zero knowledge is. I don't give a crap about privacy. I just want to get rich. I understand meme coin, meme go up. Okay. That's what people's pretty much their pattern of behaviors are. And that's why we have the situation we have now. But like, think about XRP army, you know, that's another thing to think about. By the way, XRP army people are playing a game. The game was, we love crypto, but we want a meme coin, altcoin crypto that is friendly with the government, that sucks off the government, licks the government's teats, bribes the government, and spends money to try to become CBDC. That's the game. And you know what? That's pretty much what they want. Yeah, that's why, like Brad Garlic Breath, he paid that millions of dollars to go have a photo with Donald Trump at the dinner. See what I mean? Like you pay, like that people holding XRP, they like that game. They're like, hey, we like crypto. We don't. That's why, friends, XRP people don't think Bitcoin's going to really, really win because they think you're too anarchist. So XRP's approach is, we like the crypto thing. We're going to be close to the government. You are a rival of the US dollar. We're going to be friendly with the US dollar. You know, that's probably why Bitcoin's dominance goes down over time. I'm going to quickly check it. So the prices are moving, obviously. And actually, if I just updated the price again, HEX from Ethereum is up 60% now. 60% on this. Now, you're probably wondering, so I mean, why did HEX from Ethereum just go up 60%? It's more because the Jeets who sold on Richard Hart's FUD, right? Now that he's doing an action potentially to protect the price, it's making him think about it. And I'll just do a quick update here. It's making him think about, is HEX from Ethereum really dead? How do I interpret these? Also, Mr. Grand Inquisitor, Greek god. This is awesome, sir. Look at this. Today marks 555 days since the SEC charged Richard Hart. Damn, man. You know, Mr. T-Bird and you guys, how many spooky, weird days have we seen a random spooky event happens? On day 369, on day 555. These numbers, man, I'm telling you, it's really weird. Shout out to Mr. Mood Shooty. Now it's 250 billion. Okay, that's actually, let me just quickly check that, friends. And yeah, if that number is true, doing all these, yes, so he's really like going, that's it. No more of the yield handout. Everyone's also why excited. Don't just think about what does this news really mean. Think about like Richard's making a big move, like it's kind of like Elon buys Twitter. You know, he's bought Twitter. He's done a big thing. It's like a big step. So this is, I guess, Richard's big step. It's also like, it's making us think it's bull market year. Ethereum's bottomed out. It's up only time. Maybe he's like happy with the amount of liquidations done now on Ethereum. But in terms of like, okay, I guess like we really are going to go up only from here. And he doesn't want these people to be buying in this stuff and staking short term to continuously dump. So he's made HEX more scarce. All right, that's important. And yeah, friends, I've just confirmed from Maximus DAO. I think this Twitter is Mr. Dipcatcher himself. Is very in tune with that. So we're just confirming, yeah, it is 250 billion HEX, eHEX now done. So just remember how it works. HEX, when it first started, if you wanted, like, and this changes, so don't lose your mind. Let's say you wanted 5 HEX per day yield. Yeah, 5 HEX per day. You had to buy 10,000 HEX to get it. Then, now, it went up to like 40,000 HEX needed for that 5 HEX per day yield. After this, I don't know what he's going to ratchet up to. He might shoot it up to like 100,000 HEX just to get that yield. So if you want that HEX yield, you remember, you used to buy 10,000 HEX. Now you got to buy 100,000 HEX. Now that's why everybody got, of course, confused brains with the bull market in 2021. They're like, this is mathematically programmed to go up forever. Yeah, but the purchasing power, you know, your 10,000 HEX can fluctuate. That's what crushed everyone's spirits. They're like, oh, this thing can drop 98%. And it's not just a drop of 98%. It's dropping and then staying down for 3.5, almost 4 years. That's a real killer, friends. People don't mind, oh, this thing went down, because 2022 was okay. Like, if you check that out, 2022 was like, okay, it was a nightmare and everyone came out to dance on the graves. But like, we really thought, okay, when Pulse Chain's launching, we thought, okay, we're like back in the zone. We're going to take over crypto. That's what everybody thought. Unfortunately, dropped another like 95% from the Pulse Chain launch price. So you just want to see like combined HEX went down to 1 cent. Yeah, another 94% from that. That's the thing, man. When you're like, far out, man. When you haven't gone nowhere in, my gosh, 4 years. That's what hurts everyone. It's not the, oh yeah, we had a bad year come out. It's like, okay, the bad year didn't end in June 2022. It's like 2.5 years later, the bad year just like still, oh, it's getting worse. That's what everyone's feeling. They're like, oh, JPEG casino. I know, man. Like, welcome to life. So the overall conclusion from this is Richard Hart has not abandoned HEX from Ethereum. Honestly, do you give a shit? Honestly, I'll be honest. Do you give a shit now? I know you still don't. You just don't give one fly. I know you don't. Don't pretend you just give a crap. You don't, because you're like, bro, you got to get back 4 years of losses. eHEX pHEX ratio is now here. Look, friends, just from the bottom of my heart, listen to me. I'm trying to help. You want to hear the truth? The truth is, look, Richard loves pHEX. Was his love, was that enough to keep pHEX going up? No. That's the truth. Okay, that's the truth. The product market fit, ETH BTC going down, sliced us. Okay, sliced us with a very, very sharp fork. So I'll show you HEX from Pulse Chain right now. Obviously, friends, we want everything to go up from here, and we do that. It's just that's, you know what I mean. Like, we're still red on the weekly super trend. There's a lot of overhang on the community. So what I'm basically telling you is the news and these little event catalysts things, they're not the full fundamental picture. The full fundamental picture is ETH BTC. All right. Now, there is a deeper picture than that, but don't worry about it. Who cares? Because people are going to make up a new excuse every time. Oh, Vitalik drinks soy latte. Oh, you know, this guy didn't do as many push-ups as he claimed. You know what I mean? Like, everyone's going to make an excuse. Oh, the layer 2s and these other guys are better. The story will change every time. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. This chart down, all of us down. Okay? But it is nice to know things are kind of making a difference and he still cares. But honestly, answer me this. I want to read from you. Do you care that Richard now cares about one of his coins now? There's 18 tickers. Do you care? Oh, there's another one back. Do you honestly care? Like, it's nice, but how much do you care? You don't care, but you just want price up. You just want price up. But then I want you to know, I don't speak for the guy. He's like, bro, I tried everything. ETH BTC did this. So I want you to have some perspective when it comes to that. You can feel however you want to feel on that. It's good. People are going to celebrate. Oh, actually, what I'm thinking about, I love you all, okay? Look, I love you all. I'm not going to be, there'll be no venom and violence coming from me. A lot of people did give me violence. Because obviously I would love to, but if I had like ego and I cared about this, I would be talking about all the messages I got when Richard pretty much, he did the eHEX FUD, okay? And everyone was saying, it's over, it's over. So everyone talking bad, but like, I'm not like that, friends. It's okay. All right? I don't care about that. I just want all of us to win. However, I was on the right path, but no one cares because the price is down. On the right path is in like HEX, that thing is, it's bigger than Richard can control. Also, there's forces outside as well. So we just want the price to go up, bro. Let me know how you feel. I love you all. Catch you soon.